Hello, everybody. I'm Teresa Woodard in Dallas, and here are your headlines from North Texas. An SMU professor has been missing for nearly a week. He disappeared while he was hiking in Georgia. Authorities say Charles Hush was last seen hiking near the Appalachian Trail November 11th. His daughter says Hush knows the area well and has deep ties to it. More than 50 people are now searching on foot, while helicopters and drones search overhead.
If anybody could figure out a way to come home from any accident that happened on this mountain, it would certainly be Dad.
Now, his family says his background in Eagle Scouts gives them hope that he could soon return home. A former Salina ISD coach and teacher now faces federal charges of sexually exploiting minors. 8 counts, one for each student Caleb Elliott is accused of coercing. Jobin Puniker breaks down what these new charges mean.
The hits keep coming for a former Salina middle school football coach named Caleb Elliott. He's been arrested, then rearrested, and arrested one more time, all in a month and a half. Elliott is accused of taking videos of his players in a locker room. With it comes state charges of child pornography, invasive recording, and sexual performance of a child. But now there is a federal indictment off of federal charges. Attorney Todd Shapiro has tried a number of federal cases.
They usually don't get indictments and start cases and make arrests and make it public and all that stuff unless they've got a very, very solid case.
The indictment outlines all 8 charges of sexual exploitation of children, a charge for each victim, named and protected here as victim 1, 2, all the way to 8.
It has to have that interstate commerce component to it, otherwise it remains in just the state's jurisdiction.
On the civil side, Caleb Elliott, his father and coach Bill Elliott, and the district face a large number of lawsuits. Attorney Paul Hers represents some of the families.
To see the justice system across the board taking this very seriously is very encouraging.
What makes federal cases different? Start with stiffer penalties, and getting out on bond or getting parole are near impossible. Elliott is likely in Marshall's custody.
It's just a whole different animal. Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with a different set of laws, different codes, different wording. It still remains the same. The Constitution doesn't change state to federal.
The federal case supersedes the states. That doesn't mean the state charges disappear. Shapiro tells us it could take up to 2 years before this case is resolved. In Collin County, I'm Jobin Puniker.
A federal grand jury in Fort Worth just indicted 9 people accused of attacking an ICE facility over the summer. This happened on the 4th of July at the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado. 9 people are charged with the attempted murder of an Alvarado police officer and unarmed correctional officers, as well as rioting using weapons and explosives. Prosecutors have called the suspects anarchists who believe in overthrowing the government. Now, take a look at some new photos we received. Investigators say these show the suspects shooting off and throwing fireworks at the facility, as well as the punctured tires on an agency van. If these suspects are convicted, their sentences could range from 10 years to life in prison. We know big changes are coming to a mall in Plano, and right now the rumors are flying over what it eventually becomes. The Shops at Willow Bend just lost another anchor, and the remaining tenants are hearing the Dallas Stars could be moving there. Cole Sullivan gives us a glimpse at a possible future.
Quiet backstage.
Keeping count.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bonisha, 11. There's still another kid missing.
Keeps directors busy.
Quickly, quickly, quickly. I see one of you.
At North Texas Performing Arts, tucked inside the Shops at Willow Bend. But there's another number front and center for CEO Daryl Rodenbaugh.
Yeah, well, a lot has changed.
The number of neighbors he's lost. Macy's is gone, Neiman's is leaving, and Dillard's just announced it's closing too.
Yeah, it's been a little sad.
But like any good performance,
it's Nancy! Somebody's got Nancy!
there may be a twist in Willow Bend's second act.
Well, there are rumors that there's a major sports team that's eyeing this 107 acres as potentially a future home and a possible coliseum.
He says he's heard the Dallas Stars might move its arena here. The team tells us it's, quote, continually evaluating all options for the home of our franchise in North Texas.
I would love for that to happen on these 107 acres.
He thinks there'll be room for his players, too, part of a possible entertainment district with year-round attractions.
It seems to me that you create just a powerful destination that is really unmatched anywhere else in the country. And I truly believe that there's any place in the country where that can be successful, it's Plano, Texas.
No matter where, he says the North Texas Performing Arts Show will go on.
We bow together.
But more stores leaving may not mean the final curtain call for Willow Bend.
And one last bow.
In Plano, I'm Cole Sullivan.
And finally, it is a holiday tradition that is cooler than ever. Ice at the Gaylord Texan is back, and this year, Buddy the Elf is taking over. Kara Sewell takes us behind the scenes for a first look at a frozen wonderland.
Forget jingle bells, buzz of chainsaws and power drills ringing out at the Gaylord Texan. Inside this 9-degree wonderland, 2 million pounds of ice are being carved into a holiday masterpiece.
This year's theme is Elf.
Did you hear that?
It's the first time we've ever done it, so we're really excited. We think that kids all the way up to grandparents are really going to love this theme. In fact, it's the most Googled Christmas movie in Texas.
The attraction spans roughly the size of a small grocery store and features iconic scenes from the beloved movie, including 2-story ice slides for the kid and all of us. We watched as 40 master artisans hand-carved the ice. These men are from Harbin, China, known as the ice carving capital of the world.
I feel like when people come and see it, it looks so amazing and beautiful and it's stunning. But if you see all the work that goes into doing this and just how talented the artisans are that come from Harbin, China and carve it, it's really magnificent. So I wish we could sell tickets to this part of it.
Sculptors like Jiangshu Hong work in shifts for 30 days straight, starting with massive 300 to 500-pound blocks of ice.
Do you ever get overwhelmed with how much you have to make?
They have that like a team, so they all work each other very well, and they've been working together so long, so they were helping each other.
The craft is a prestigious career in Hong's hometown where ice sculpting is passed down through generations. This team is even multi-generational.
They start carving right away, and it starts out more of a construction zone. They're just bringing in all the huge blocks of ice. Right now we're kind of in the middle of it. By the end, they're just chiseling the fine details, and so it's amazing to see what they do in actually a pretty short amount of time.
What do you want them to feel when they walk in and see your sculptures?
We would hope that let people walk in and feel that, wow, they come to the different world and then like very joyful.
And with every chisel, these sculptors prove that even a block of ice can create Buddy-level excitement.
Okay, if it is your first time at ICE, bundle up. They do provide very thick jackets, but it is pretty chilly in there. ICE runs through January 4th. And those are your headlines from North Texas.
In Austin, I'm Adam Bennett. Austin ISD has released its final plan to consolidate and close schools. 10 schools would close next school year. Nearly 4,000 students would be reassigned. Board members will consider the plan during a meeting this week. KV's Daniel Perot has more on the updated plan and why AISD says this is only round one.
After 9 months of development and community engagement, Austin ISD is out with its final consolidation plan.
We cannot continue on the amount of strain in the system and the pressure of this work.
The district has said it needs to consolidate campuses to address declining enrollment, help balance its budget, and align feeder patterns. 7 of the 10 schools closing are affected by turnaround plans the district has to submit to the state to address underperforming schools. The Montessori program will be incorporated into Riley Elementary as a strand.
The program as a whole that currently exists is moving to Wooten. So that gave us a unique opportunity to add programming, create an identity for Riley.
Dual language programming at Becker, Ridgetop, Sunset Valley, and Riley Elementaries would move to Pickle, Wooten, Odom, and Sanchez Elementaries. While Odom would become a non-zone school, Pickle, Wooten, and Sanchez will educate students in two-way dual language programming. The district intends for the 3 schools to transition into wall-to-wall programming. Superintendent Matias Segura says the changes were necessary to help all students in the district be academically successful.
We need to do something big to evolve, to ensure that, as a system, we grow and we are in a healthy, vibrant school system for years to come.
The final draft plan does not close Briker Woods, Maplewood, and Palm Elementaries. Segura postponed his decision on that part of the plan after concerns surfaced about the integrity of how the district analyzed feedback. The district says 2 employees are now on leave as it investigates what happened. On Friday, Segura signaled he still intends to move forward with those closures. He did not provide a timeline, but said it'll be brought forward in an expedited manner.
This is not going to linger. This is too much. It is a strain on the system. It's a strain on our community, and so I'm hopeful to get past this.
Now, Segura says community feedback drove many changes to the plan. AISD's Board of Trustees plans to meet Thursday. They'll consider both this consolidation plan and the turnaround plans. The district must submit those plans to the Texas Education Agency by Friday. This week, Austin City Council could greenlight a new budget just 2 weeks after voters shot down a property tax hike. On Tuesday morning at 9 at City Hall, City Council will discuss the proposed budget for fiscal year 2026. Thursday is the first day they could approve it. This comes after voters rejected Proposition Q. That would have generated $110 million more than the last fiscal year, but cost the median homeowner an extra $300. Now, some proposed cuts include $38 million to social services contracts, $5 million to the Austin Parks Department, and $1 million to Austin Fire. We're seeing 2 proposed amendments from council members as well. The first would give back more than $4 million to EMS, so that would lower the total cut to just under $2 million. And the other would send $500,000 to set up food pantries and for home-delivered meals for older adults. Well, in a little more than 3 months, the primary election will be here. Republicans and Democrats will decide which candidates they want to see on the ballot in the November election. We sat down with 2 candidates for Texas governor who are running in the Democratic primary. Chris Bell is a former congressman and Houston City Council member. Andrew White is a businessman and the son of former Texas Governor Mark White. White is calling himself an independent Democrat. We asked him what that means.
So an independent Democrat is someone who will unite the progressives and the moderates of our party together and then invite independents into our party. Because we've got to make the big tent a little bigger if we're going to win in November. Here are the numbers. There's only 1 million Democratic voters who vote in the primary in March, 1 million. There's 11 million voters who vote in November. I'm running in a state that's been red for 30 years. We need a strategy that works statewide. I'm not running in Lloyd Doggett's, congressional district. That's a different Democrat who can win that district. We need a Democrat who can win statewide, and that's why I'm running.
We also sat down with former Congressman Chris Bell, the newest face in the Democratic primary for governor. He explained where he falls on the political spectrum.
I think people would say I am a moderate. I'm progressive on social issues. I can be quite conservative on a lot of fiscal issues. I don't think we should be spending money that we don't have. And I think when folks really key in on the experience, they'll see that I'm the type of candidate who can beat Greg Abbott. And I think that is what really is going to make the difference in this election.
Now, so far, 4 Democrats have announced they're running for Texas governor, besides Chris Bell and Andrew White. State Representative Gina Hinojosa, who represents part of Austin, has launched her campaign. So is Bobby Cole. He's a retired firefighter and a farmer from East Texas. A downtown Austin grocery store is dealing with another crime at one of their locations. This time, the Royal Blue Grocery on 4th and Nueces was robbed at gunpoint. The store's co-owner tells KVU's Jessica Cha it's reigniting his concerns about safety in the area.
If you're shopping at the Royal Blue Grocery on 4th and Nueces in downtown Austin, you'll see folks from here.
We've got a condo building above us. Those guys are bread and butter in here all the time.
And from around the corner.
Everything that's going on in the 2nd Street district also kind of gravitates this way.
And also people like this, according to co-owner George Scariano.
The fella came in very briskly through our front door, with gun waving.
Surveillance video shows that on Tuesday at 11:50 p.m., a man dressed in all black and face covered pointed a gun at 2 employees.
He said, "Give me all your money." And luckily, our employees did.
Scariano says they lost $2,000 that night, and everyone is safe, but their sense of security is gone.
We were going to have available trauma counseling, all these things that an employee at a corner store shouldn't be dealing with.
And has been for a while. Back in September, the store on 3rd Street was robbed 3 nights in a row, prompting employees to bar the doors at night. And both Scariano and his employees have been assaulted in the past.
Scariano says that they've seen a lot of shoplifting all across their stores, and now staff are having to lock up certain products like cigarettes to avoid losing expensive product and also deter theft. And with Tuesday's robbery on top of all of this, he says they are at their wits' end.
We love what we do, but where do we turn? Where do we turn when we are sitting ducks?
Scariano says he can't afford to hire security for all 6 of their locations and urges city leaders to take a closer look at what downtown business owners are experiencing.
We need more help because any longer-term strategies don't address the fact that we have a crisis right here, right now, and it has been at this level for quite some time.
We reached out to City Council member Zoe Kadri, who represents downtown. And in a statement, he says he expresses his sincere concern for what happened. He says his office has met with Scariano multiple times over the years, including a meeting with APD. And they will continue to listen and respond to business owners. Something Scariano says could lead to real solutions. In downtown Austin, Jessica Chan, KVUE News.
Those are the headlines in Austin. I'm Adam Bennett.
Hey everyone, I'm meteorologist Matt Farrell. Let's take a look at your forecast across Texas. Our headlines starting off there. Today, it's going to be another warm one, especially in our northern, eastern zones and our southern zones as well. As you see those temperatures again, close to 90 degrees for several areas across Texas. I'm looking at San Antonio, Waco, DFW, Corpus Christi, Austin. And for a lot of us, our records this time of the year are in those lower 90s, upper 80s. So this could be close to record territory for some spots. For your Tuesday, one more warm and dry day. For most. We'll get to that for most part here in just a second, but understand it's going to be another very warm day across portions of Texas there. Waco 86, San Antonio 85, 86 there in Houston as well, 87 potentially tomorrow in Corpus Christi. So again, those very near record temperatures still in play for us for most of Texas for your Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, we start to see those thunderstorm chances increase as our next system moves in. Now, here's the thing, depending on where you are, could be Wednesday, or it could be Thursday. So let's take a look at the setup. The reason why we're dealing with those very warm temperatures, again, high pressure has been in control of our weather for a while now. It is starting to slide off to the east a little bit, but again, as long as that feature is in play, we can deal with warm, quiet weather over the next 36 hours or so. After that, our attention does start to shift back to the west as this low pressure system coming on shore there in California, that will continue moving east, and as it does so, that's going to increase our storm chances Wednesday and especially into Thursday. Again, some of us could see some rain on Tuesday, but that is not the day that we're looking at. Yes, there's a chance, especially along the I-35 corridor, but I'm really looking at that Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. And understand, some of those storms that we see could be on the stronger side. Little early to really be talking about the potential for severe weather, but understand, yes, some thunderstorms could be strong, again, especially in the eastern half of the state. So let's take a look here. Like I said, Tuesday, most of us stay dry, but you can see our models picking up on maybe some isolated scattered activity, maybe a few showers here or there. And again, primarily along the I-35 corridor. Wednesday afternoon, kind of the same situation, isolated, scattered activity possible. Our models are really starting to slow this system down though, and it's not till Wednesday night, Thursday morning that we really start to see some of those more widespread, stronger showers and thunderstorms developing first out in West Texas. So if you're in the Panhandle, the Trans-Pecos, the Big Country, that's where we're going to see some of these showers and thunderstorms first. And then they will continue to move across the I-35 corridor as we get into the latter parts of your Thursday. And with that, again, this is where we could really be talking about some of those stronger thunderstorms potentially embedded within this complex of showers and thunderstorms before everything finally starts to move off to the east, out of the state there as we head towards early Friday and into the afternoon hours. So with that, again, pretty slow moving system here, and because of that, we could be talking some pretty healthy rain totals, especially along the I-35 corridor, upwards of potentially 3 inches of rain there from DFW down to Waco. If you're in West Texas, the Trans-Pecos, we're talking about the Panhandle here, 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 an inch, the big country. That's really going to be the transition zone here, where you start to see about 1 inch out there near the Permian Basin to about 2.5 inches there near Abilene. And again, there's that bullseye over the I-35 corridor, and then things start to taper off the further east you go. So again, healthy rainfall totals, and we absolutely need them. This is the drought monitor that was updated on Thursday. And you can see some extreme drought sneaking into South Texas and the Trans-Pecos. Lots of us under that moderate drought category. Here's a look at your regional temperatures the next 3 days. In addition to those storms, again, things will be cooling down as that system moves in, but the next 2 days, especially I'm looking at East Texas, down in the valley, down in South Texas, all of these areas potentially dealing with temperatures near or at 90 degrees before things finally start to cool down a little bit by the middle of the week.
Let's take a look at today's headlines from Houston. I'm Cheryl Mercedes. A woman who accused her astronaut ex-wife of a crime in space now admits she made it up. Federal prosecutors say Summer Warden pleaded guilty to lying about NASA astronaut Anne McClain and hacking her bank account from the International Space Station. You may recall those images from space in August 2019, marking the first ever criminal claim against someone in orbit. Investigators later found Warden had given McClain access to that account years earlier. Warden heads back to court for sentencing in February and could face prison time. We're learning new details about the arrest of former Houston Rocket Patrick Beverly. Here's what we know so far. Fort Bend County officials confirmed Beverly was arrested Friday on a felony charge of family violence assault, specifically impeding breath and circulation. His bond was set at $40,000. His attorney sent a statement saying, quote, Patrick Beverly has no criminal record. He cares deeply about his little sister, a young lady, a minor. Given that when he unexpectedly found her alone in the home with an 18-year-old man in the middle of the night, he was understandably concerned, as any brother would be, about his sister, end quote. Beverly posted to social media, please don't believe everything you see on the internet. Hope all is well. CenterPoint Energy has a multi-billion-dollar plan to strengthen the power grid. On Friday, the state's Public Utility Commission approved CenterPoint's system-wide resiliency plan. It will cost customers starting next year, but the utility says it will improve grid reliability. Our Troy Kless has that story.
People we spoke to feel mixed about an upcoming rate increase, though they believe that Houstonians deserve a stronger power grid.
Hurricane Beryl disrupting to many people's lives.
We did flood. I lived in an apartment, and we had mold issues, and it was just a lot of inconveniences, I would say.
We live in Spring area, and my son lives here in the Heights, so we had to actually come into his house because we were out for about 8 days.
Mohammed Khan unsure why he and others have to pay for CenterPoint's resiliency plan.
I think something needs to be done. I'm not sure if it should be done at the expense of the customers.
CenterPoint says this $2.9 billion system-wide resiliency plan will reduce the severe weather threat by addressing vegetation management, modernizing and undergrounding cables, and more. CenterPoint Energy wrote in a statement which says, in part, this approach will allow us to clear high-risk vegetation from thousands more miles of power lines every year. Our energy expert Ed Hers says the utility is playing catch-up.
CenterPoint is already undertaken a lot of hardening work across this grid, much of it brought on by the derecho and Hurricane Beryl. And we know that for years, CenterPoint only trimmed back the vegetation on 20% of its overhead lines.
If a storm arrives, residents don't want to be left in the dark, like in Beryl.
You don't want to wait for weeks without power.
No, that would be horrible.
A price some people are willing to pay.
It doesn't really matter, to be honest. $4. It's like inflation, basically. I think we do need a stronger grid, though, for sure.
The rate increase will progress over time to $4 in 2028. In Houston, Troy Kless, KHOU 11 News.
A West Houston flight school has suddenly shut down, leaving students stranded. Many students say they've poured in thousands of dollars, and now they can't get any answers about when or even if they'll see that money again. Katira Winfrey spoke to 3 of them and went looking for solutions and answers.
VT AAA Flight School in West Houston was the place where many would-be pilots hoped their passions and even new careers would take flight. That's until the school abruptly closed November 1st. Since then, students like Basil Kawaja and Haley Hartnett have been trying to get answers.
A lot of us have over $30,000 in our accounts.
And their money back.
It's easy to move on when you have that money and you can just go to another flight school and start, your career over there, and your rest of your training you can finish over there. But it's hard to move on when you don't get your money back.
Many students took out personal loans to cover the upfront costs for training.
I'm near the end of my training, thank goodness, and so I actually got a flying job, but the remainder of the money in my account, I was anticipating using that towards staying instrument current, building more of my multi-engine hours.
KHOU 11 reached out to VT AAA several times over several days and haven't gotten a response. Meanwhile, West Houston Airport says it was not associated with the flight school, only renting the hangar and office space, but confirmed that VT AAA had closed and left the premises.
We'll work on refunding your money in the next couple of months.
Pilot hopeful Matthew Havelka says he was able to reach the flight school, but came away frustrated with their response.
Is it still not very reassuring?
No, I'm not. I don't feel, it's better than nothing.
But he's working full time and has a family. And with uncertainty about completing his training, it's not enough.
Definitely hopeful. We have to be. We can't just be stagnant in our career, especially where we're headed.
Reporting in Houston, Katira Winfrey, KHOU 11 News.
We reached out to the Better Business Bureau about VT AAA Flight School and learned the business had an F rating due to multiple unresolved complaints from students. The flight school had also been sued in the past over issues with student funds. That's a wrap of your Houston headlines. I'm Cheryl Mercedes.
I'm Vanessa Croy, and this is the news in San Antonio. Newly released body cam video shows how a shootout unfolded last month near the medical center. It happened at a storage facility off Fredericksburg Road, and we do want to warn you the video you are about to see may be difficult to watch. The shooting happened October 18th, just before 10 that night. San Antonio police saying a security company monitoring the property called in a burglary in progress. When officers got there, they say they found a man with a gun inside one of the storage units. Investigators say the man then walked toward the officers and fired 2 shots. An officer returned fire, hitting the man identified as 58-year-old Richard Asbell. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive his injuries. Police say they found a handgun at the scene. No officers were hurt. The officer who did fire his service weapon was placed on administrative duty while the investigation is ongoing. As for Asbell, he's facing 4 counts of aggravated assault of a public servant. The wife of a popular food content creator who was shot and killed by a Medina County deputy is now speaking out. Michael Duarte, who went by Food with Bare Hands, died on November 8th. He was reportedly in town for a barbecue festival in Hondo. Medina County Sheriff's deputies say they got a call that he was acting erratically with a knife. Once a deputy arrived, they say Duarte was trying to assault a paramedic before charging that deputy, yelling, "I am going to kill you." That's when the sheriff's office says the deputy shot him. Duarte leaves behind a wife and a daughter. His wife posting on Instagram saying in part, "I feel so touched and proud to know so many people that he has inspired over his time here on Earth." The Texas Rangers are now leading the investigation.
We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about the progress and prosperity of our community.
The March primary race for Bexar County judge just got a big shakeup. A high-profile contender now in the race. Our KENS 5's Mike Jimenez tells us more about former Mayor Ron Nirenberg's next political move.
After weeks of speculation, Saturday afternoon, former San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg made it official.
My name is Ron Nirenberg, and I am running for Bexar County judge.
In front of about 200 supporters, former San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg put the speculation to rest and formally announced his candidacy for Bexar County Judge, quoting civil rights activist Cesar Chavez.
We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about the progress and prosperity of our community. Even with all that we've accomplished over the last 8 years, there are still important issues facing this region.
During his announcement, Nirenberg spoke about some of the things he accomplished during his 8-year tenure as San Antonio mayor.
We stared down a global pandemic together. We expanded pre-K for SA. We developed our first ever mass transit lines. We are doubling the size of our airport. This was work we achieved together. And by the way, with the approval of voters and without raising taxes.
Nirenberg also said during his speech, the county judge position needs leadership that can bring the power of local government to work together to improve people's lives.
It takes someone who is willing to use the full authority of this office. We are the results of our actions, not our ambitions. I'm running to do things. I'm running to change things. I'm running to lead when we need it the most.
The announcement sets up a showdown with current Bexar County Judge Peter Sakai, who last month issued a response to Nirenberg's pending announcement via Facebook, naming some of his accomplishments during his first term as county judge, and also stating in part, "Considering the challenges we are facing, it's disappointing that some would rather start fights within our Democratic Party than work together to lift up our community." Nirenberg says the race for county judge is about the future of Bexar County and determining what kind of shared future we want to build together.
So I am excited to earn your vote in the coming months, and with your help, we will fulfill the potential of a community on the rise. And so let's rise up together, Bexar County. It's time to get to work.
Now, we did reach out to Judge Sakai's campaign for comment, but have not heard back. Mike Jimenez, KINS 5.
Governor Greg Abbott joining local leaders to feed hundreds of seniors and community members in Kerrville. The event was put together by the Hunt Fish Feed program created by Outdoor Channel that aims to shine a light on game meat and fish that they say is an underused food source. Volunteers there were treated to by a chef who prepared venison and stir-fried veggie meals donated by local sportsmen and women. The governor there promising to support the Kerrville community as they work to rebuild after the July 4th floods. He said, quote, "We're going to be here every day, every step of the way until we completely rebuild this entire region." A local teen battling terminal cancer saw her dream come true, celebrating her own quinceañera along with her twin sister. Dariela Foster and her twin sister were both celebrating this weekend. So back in October, their mother, Damaris Gonzalez, reached out online hoping to borrow 2 dresses for just photos. But instead, what she received was an outpouring of support. Strangers stepping in to donate money, businesses offering free services, insisting the girls deserved more than just pictures. They deserved a celebration.
It's more than a quinceañera. It just shows a dream coming true. And thanks to the community and everyone that came together and help us out and with all their services and all the love, the prayers, the support. It's more than just a quinceañera to them. It's their dream come true. And not only for them, but for me too.
Gonzalez saying she just wants to make lasting memories with Dariela, who says she's been battling bone cancer for the last year. She says they just don't know how much time they have. And that is the news in San Antonio.
Here are your headlines from Southeast Texas. I'm Ebony Coleman. A Beaumont man is in jail after he was accused of assaulting a pregnant woman and threatening police. Officers arrested Terrence Killingsworth after disturbance at the Sunlight Manor Apartments. A probable cause affidavit says he threatened to, quote, kill all the people out there, and then he left in a car that had been reported stolen. When police stopped him, they found a pregnant woman with scratches on her face who was upset. Police say Killingsworth smelled strongly of alcohol, became agitated, and threatened an officer. He's facing 4 charges, including assault of a pregnant person, retaliation, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and a DWI. His bond is set at $57,000. And Beaumont police are asking for your help in identifying suspects seen in this surveillance video the department released on Facebook. Police say the suspects burglarized a building in the 500 block of Orleans Street earlier this month. In the video, you can see 6 individuals walking through what looks like an office and rummaging through belongings. If you recognize them, please contact BPD or Southeast Texas Crime Stoppers. And the city of Port Neches is holding a special election this December. It's for 2 positions, mayor and the city council place 4 seat. It comes after Mayor Glenn Johnson died in October. Council member Terry Schwartzner, a former council member Robert Arnold are running for mayor. Schwartzner says he plans to continue the work Mayor Johnson did on the riverfront.
He was a unique man and a good man and a great mayor. And I just hope to keep the progress that he started with Riverfront, because when he was on council and first became mayor, that's when the property was purchased and that's when it started development. And he had the foresight and the drive to keep it going.
The other candidate, Robert Arnold, stepped down from his seat as council member place 4 in order to run. Arnold says he plans to focus on infrastructure.
Keep the city running smooth and efficiently like it is. To continue to improve on that, to finish off the development that we have started on the waterfront and help the downtown merchants, and to keep all the city services up as far as all the infrastructure.
Paul Lemoyne and Tracy Hammond are vying for Arnold's old seat on Council Place 4. Early voting starts on December 1st and Election Day is December 13th. And a podcast run by 2 Southeast Texans is celebrating 2 years of supporting Hispanic-owned businesses. It's called Mon Show, and the hosts say their events always draw strong community support, even with a small following. Founders Marviela Mondolando and O.D. Jimenez say they never expected to work together, but they felt called to serve their community. Their Spanish language podcast gives Hispanic-owned businesses a space to promote themselves. They also host free community events to connect local entrepreneurs face-to-face with Southeast Texas, all driven by their desire to support one another.
Love to see them grow. I love to see them tell me, oh, I have more clients. My schedule is booked. I love to hear that because it's part of my purpose.
The Mon Show records podcasts on Facebook and YouTube once a month. And the Beaumont Professional Firefighters with Local 399 just kicked off a toy drive to support the Some Other Place Giving Tree. They're asking the community to drop off new unwrapped toys at any of Beaumont's 12 fire stations from now through December the 12th.
Individual shows up to any of our 12 fire stations, rings the doorbell, they'll be greeted by a firefighter. We'll accept the donation, a new unwrapped toy, and it'll go in the pile. And while they're there, if they want to come in, take a look around the station, let their kids see the trucks, we're really encouraging them to come out and meet their local firemen also.
Well, it says families can stop by between 8 and 9 p.m. Firefighters will deliver everything to Some Other Place on December 13th, so the gifts reach local families just in time for the holidays. And Lamar University's Alpha Tau Omega fraternity is wrapping up its annual Philanthropy Week with a messy fundraiser. The Zeta Theta chapter held a 24-hour stationary bike-a-thon where students could pay to throw eggs or pies at riders. You can see this guy is just covered in them. They are raising money for Smile Train, which helps fund research and help for children with a cleft left palate.
This week means a lot to me. Clearly there's a lot of people around the world with cleft lip and palate, so just being able to raise money for them, it means a lot because I was born with it too.
The fraternity set a goal of raising $10,000 in hopes this week will help students learn more about the condition and the work Smile Train does around the world. And those are your headlines from Southeast Texas.
I'm Adriana Alexander. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. Last May, powerful storms swept through Bell County, leaving homes damaged and families facing costly repairs. One resident says her house suffered extensive damage, roof problems, soaked walls, and mold issues, and rebuilding has been far from simple. She claims her insurance provider, State Farm, has offered her only a small portion of what's needed, constantly switched adjusters, and slowed the repair process. She has now filed a lawsuit seeking relief as her coverage hangs in the balance.
You know, you hire an insurance company to be there for you when a catastrophe hits, and suddenly you're left holding the bag because they don't want to cover what you've hired them to do as your insurance company.
On Monday, 6 News uncovers what's happening behind the claims. We'll take an in-depth look at this story in our 6 Fix investigation. A Central Texas woman who shattered barriers in law enforcement has been honored statewide. This month, Christine Nix, the first African-American woman promoted into the Texas Rangers in 1994, was inducted into the Texas Women's Hall of Fame. Nix began her career with Temple Police before joining DPS and later served more than 10 years as a Texas Ranger. She says the journey wasn't easy, especially entering the field in the late 70s as one of the only black women in Central Texas law enforcement. But perseverance and drive kept her on her path.
When I started, there was some resistance, and what I had to do was I had to be prepared every day I went to work. I had to be really thick-skinned, and my philosophy is I will win you over one way or the other. And so I worked hard, I stayed prepared, and little by little, agencies began calling on me.
And Nix now serves as a local college professor. Now, the nonprofit organization Feed My Sheep is preparing to serve hundreds of Thanksgiving meals, but they say the real need goes far beyond turkey and stuffing. 6 News reporter Sydney Walker has more on how Central Texans can make a difference this holiday season.
Thanksgiving at Feed My Sheep is no easy feat.
Whew.
For Jeff Stiegel and his team.
That's quite a lot.
The holiday table.
600-700 people.
Full.
But it'll be rotations of people come in.
But the executive director says there's a spot.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Inside at their table.
We average 175 to 200 every day.
Year round.
The day after Thanksgiving, we're going to serve 200 people. The day after that, we'll serve 200 again every day out of the year.
Feed My Sheep runs on donations and volunteers, according to Stiegel.
Man, I'm living the dream. What about you?
I'm doing fine.
But the work doesn't slow down.
Since 2010 to now, we have not missed one single meal, 365 days a year, 7 days a week.
With the lengthy government shutdown in Central Texans without SNAP benefits.
Increasing the meals that we're serving here, increasing.
It's all increasing, even.
Every person that's in a picture here,
the loss.
They have died on the streets in the last year.
They need the community's help.
Coordinating all the volunteers and then trying to get the amount of food that is necessary.
They accept frozen turkeys donated up until Friday, November 21st.
So this is where it'll be served.
And cooked turkey on Thanksgiving Day. But the greatest need of all.
Come join us for Thanksgiving too. Come serve and come have a meal with our people. Let's join together and have that fellowship.
Community.
That's huge.
Community is their biggest need.
For just a moment to be equal and to be the same as everybody else.
Full stomachs and full hearts may just be the answer.
There ain't enough turkeys to solve the homeless problem here. There is enough people to provide community, togetherness, and care.
And those are your headlines from Central Texas.
I'm Bill Churchwell in Corpus Christi, and here's a look at some of what's happening right here in South Texas. After years of stalled growth and limited retail options, the city of Mathis has a new store. Tractor Supply opened its doors, marking what community leaders call the first real sign of an economic revival. A large crowd gathered for the ribbon cutting. Residents, visitors, and Texas Senator Adam Hinojosa say the new store is a major win for the community and a promising sign of what's still to come.
What really puts Mathis on the map, Tractor Supply is a big organization. They serve our rural areas, especially in Senate District 27. So making Mathis their new home is such a big deal, and there's much more to come. So like I said, Mathis is now on the map. We're working out the infrastructure issues with the city. We're in close collaboration with them, and so we're going to get all that resolved, and that's just going to even greater enable the city to grow in leaps and bounds.
The next big development is expected in February. Once everything is finalized, the city of Mathis will announce what project they'll be working on next. A surprising guest recently capturing attention at a Corpus Christi Baptist church, 100-year-old World War II veteran Jose Mendez. His extraordinary life and experiences have left a lasting impact on those who heard his story. Our Nadia Garcia has more.
On Rand Morgan Road, the stars and stripes waved out in front of Bible Believers Baptist Church. Inside, the congregation stood tall, honoring veterans, including one very surprising guest. That guest, 100-year-old World War II veteran named Jose Mendez, a man who survived some of the fiercest battles of that war.
We were very surprised. I never imagined I would have a World War II veteran as a part of our service today.
He fought in 3 major battles, receiving a number of honors for his service.
I received a battle for the Hargan Forest and for the Battle of the Bulge in the Central Europe.
The Coastal Bend native believes that only a dozen of his fellow World War II veterans remain in Nueces County.
I lost 16 of my schoolmates that didn't get to come back. That is why I feel very hard about telling people not to forget the fallen heroes.
This was the first time the church held a veteran ceremony, and they hope Mendez returns next year.
We really appreciate his service, and we're thankful, number one, that he's still around, and we're very grateful that he was able to be with us today, because that is a truly remarkable generation, in my opinion, especially with what they accomplished and what they did for our nation.
Jose is not only one of our veterans from the greatest generation, he's also still fighting for other vets as well as for his community.
We have to be very careful who we vote for, because many elected officials will never, they're going to look after themselves, or they don't do enough for veterans, really, because they're not veterans. Most of the elected officials are not veterans, and that's one thing that I really pushed, that we elect the people that cares about veterans.
Wise advice from a man who served his country during World War II and continues to ensure that the American way survives. After all, it's what he fought for. It's what his friends who didn't make it back died trying to protect. Nadia Garcia, 3 News.
And we thank him for his service. That's a quick look at some of what's happening in South Texas.
Hi, I'm Dan Millay, and here's what's making headlines across East Texas. A Jacksonville police officer injured in the line of duty earlier this week has released her first public statement since the shooting that hospitalized her and her K-9 partner and prompted a 3-day manhunt in East Texas. Officer Elise Hand had reportedly attempted to serve 2 outstanding warrants against Bobby Michael Dennis, 64, outside a residence on Churchill Street. Dennis then emerged with an AR-15 style rifle and opened fire, injuring both Hand and a K-9 unit while she sought cover. Police believe Dennis fired approximately 20 rounds in the attack. Though Hand has been released from the hospital, her recovery continues. She said on social media, quote, "My leg has a wound vac on it, which is helping close the chunk of my leg that is missing. My ulnar nerve in my right arm was 85% severed, and a cadaver nerve was placed. I have no feeling or movement in my right arm, hand, or fingers. All that to say, I have received so much love and support. It's heartwarming and has made me feel so incredibly loved and supported." Hand was released after undergoing 2 surgeries on November 8th and escorted back to Jacksonville through a convoy of emergency response vehicles. Hand's K-9 unit Renzo was injured after a bullet pierced through the door of a patrol vehicle. Hand took cover behind. He underwent 2 surgeries at an emergency vet clinic, and Hand says he is recovering smoothly. According to the Troop Police Department, a Louisiana police officer killed in the line of duty today had ties to East Texas. Police Chief Sean Murray said on social media that on-duty officer Mark Brock of the Vivian Police Department, who was killed while serving a warrant, was Murray's cousin. Officer Brock was serving a cyber-stalking warrant when a suspect opened fire through the door, killing him. On social media, Murray said, quote, "My cousin gave his all, and the outpouring of love from the community he grew up in shows just how much he meant as a mentor, a coach, a devoted family man, and a dedicated law enforcement officer. His absence leaves an ache that words can barely touch, but his memory will continue to guide and inspire. You will be greatly missed. We're praying for you, your family, and the town you served with." Former Gilmer Buckeye and Texas Longhorn Chris Boyd is in critical but stable condition after being shot in Manhattan early Sunday morning. According to the NYPD, the shooting happened around 2 a.m. outside an Asian fusion restaurant on West 38th Street in Midtown. Upon arrival, officers found the 29-year-old Jets player with a gunshot wound to the abdomen. First responders transported Boyd to Bellevue Hospital, where he is currently listed in critical condition. A Jets spokesman said the team is aware of the situation and will have no further comment at this time. There are currently no arrests, but police say they're looking for a man who fled in a blue BMW in connection with the shooting. The relationship between the victim and the suspect is unclear at this time. A Flint church that's already spent much of this year rebuilding after a devastating fire is now dealing with another setback. Somebody vandalized their front door this week. CBS 19's Will Riddell spoke with the pastor about how they're responding.
But Pastor Raymond Graham of Lakewood Church in Flint this week brought another shocking moment for a church that's seen more than its share of challenges in 2025.
We've been on the news way more than I like in the past 6 months.
The church was forced to rebuild after a devastating fire back in April, right before Easter. And just last week, police say someone threw a piece of concrete through a front door at the church.
It blew my mind when I looked back and saw the glass on the ground and realized that he had done that.
The man accused of causing the damage is Tim Poole. He was arrested Thursday on multiple charges, including criminal mischief. Aside from the church, Poole also allegedly vandalized an American flag display outside Tyler's W.T. Brookshire Conference Center. Pastor Graham says he recognized him. They've crossed paths at the church before.
He'd come to church off and on for probably the past 4 years, 4.5, 5 years, and he was really close to some of our members.
Graham doesn't know what caused Poole's alleged behavior, but says he is now praying for him.
No matter what the issue is, God can help. We believe that God is still in the miracle business, and he can heal people. Tim, we love you, and we forgive you, and I know that God is working in your heart and will continue to do that.
Pastor Graham says the church will move forward as they have all year with faith and patience while they continue repairs. In Flint, Will Riddell, CBS 19.
And that's a wrap of your East Texas headlines. I'm Dan Millay.